Welcome back, bowling fans. This week in the Draft League, week number 12, the final week of season number 1 is tonight. And in a few hours, we will know who the winner is of the league. And this man standing right next to me is in great position. What's up, Red? Great position to take home the title. We have a special guest tonight that Joe's going to tell you about. The names are getting bigger every week. And you know what? A really nice reception, Joe, for last week's show featuring Bobby Spallone, all-time great, with the presence of Dennis Rigatti and Mike King in the room. Extra special. A lot of people loved it. In fact, when we brought up the Charay-Spallone 1990 match, Joe said to go find it on YouTube, but I save you the trouble. So I'm going to put that in right now.
It's on lane 15. Here's the pop. And he delivers another strike. Spallone knows at this point he's got to answer young Jeff. He can't let him get away.
Bobby, he's afraid to smile, the kid. He's afraid to crack a smile.
It's not over yet, Donnie. I wouldn't smile either.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not when you're facing a guy that's got high average in the house.
Unbelievable.
226 average.
And all of a sudden, Bobby, you hear a hush in the crowd.
Spallone is deep in concentration. Well, he answers the call, Spallone. Spallone is back in the match. Donnie, we're going to have one of the most exciting matches we've had in a long time.
What a match here at Country Lanes with the Staten Island Singles Classic. Handicap bowling at its best, right, Bob?
Well, right now we have Bob Spallone taking his time. He's looking at his spot. He knows he has to make that delivery precisely. And it looks like he made it. And he did make it. And he's answering this call. This is one of the... I haven't seen Spallone bowling like this in years. He's in good competition against this young Jeff
Tell
Sher.
you what, Bobby, I hate to see somebody lose.
Charay. That's how we pronounce his name, Donnie. Jeff Charay.
I hate to see somebody lose this match, Bobby, really.
Jeff is taking his time. He's not wild at all, Donnie. He takes his time. He comes through the shot. And we have another strike by Jeff Charay. I love Jeff's glove and his shirt. He's all in pink. And pink calms the Savage Beast, Donnie.
Right now, he's calming the pins to the tune of 6 in a row.
Well, he's back on 15 again, and he's done nothing but strike on this particular lane. Let's see what he does up here in the 8th frame. And he left the 7. The 5 never made it over, Donnie. Once again, Donnie, he came up a little short into the oil, and the ball did not make the finish that it did earlier. The 5-pin stopped short of taking out the 7.
I got to do this is a big spare for him right here.
It's a big spare because he has to keep his speed. And he plays the dry going across and he converts the 7. Now we're going to see what Mr. Spallone does because he's in a good match. Bob Spallone up in the 8th frame on lane 16. He knows exactly what he has to do.
Strike here, Bobby, puts him in the lead.
Just watch Spallone going back. He knows he had it. He knew he had it. He's in the mist now, Donnie. He's in the midst of the battle. Crowd is into it. The bowlers are into it. And we're getting into it.
And what a crowd it is, Bobby. It's wall-to-wall people here at Country Lanes.
Lane 15. Spallone's taking his time. He lets the ball out into the dry. And he carries the 5. That was a very big delivery by Bob Spallone as he blew the 5 out of the rack.
I have never...
So after seeing that, you could see how, number one, the equipment was different, the clothes were different, and certainly the hairdos were different. It's funny you said that, Kevin, because Charay is rocking the mullet in that video, and it's so good. A young Jeff Charay had to be, what, 18 years old? Right. And another video, which I'm going to put in there in 2 seconds, is when Rob Vinci mentioned Rudy Kazamaskis, action bowler from back in the day, beat everybody, eventually made it onto the tour. And I'm going to put that clip in right now.
3rd frame. Rudy Kazamaskis, watch how high the backswing goes, and he twists a little bit, opens it up, and then cranks it coming down. But look at the stability at the foul line. Very, very good balance.
217 average this week, 246.
One of the highest ever. For a double. There he is.
Oh. Family over there.
Those are his wife and his children and his friends. Dad Rabs. You want to see what a strong man can do to a bowling ball and some pins? Bang! They're gone.
So as you can see, in the arena, Rudy versus Bonds. I think it was Bonds. Yeah, I think it was Chris Bonds in the video. Sick stuff. Sick hand. It was amazing. But I'm very happy to talk to Spallone. That was great because, like I said, meant a lot back in the day. First got started, didn't even know what I was doing, and I wound up getting lucky talking to Bobby. I got a couple of special people that I have to introduce. The first one, you know it, is on camera number 1. He's also known as the Nazareth Nighthawk, Matt Koplowitz. Take a look at him. Second up, ladies and gentlemen, Ray Lawson. Second about camera number 2. I don't know how I could describe it any better. But when we look in the mirror, we don't see Mr. Gorgeous, but Kenny does. Mr. Gorgeous in the mirror every morning. To my left, the man that runs this show, Brooklyn's own, Staten Island's own, Joe Calandrillo, also known as Joe Cal. Joe, who do we have tonight?
Oh, we got tonight, Joe. Staying on the Hall of Fame theme. Last week you mentioned the Hall of Famers, Mike King, and Bobby Spallone, Dennis Rigatti, who's a Hall of Famer in our book and our hearts. And tonight we're going to stay on the Hall of Fame theme. We're going to bring in another new inductee into the Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame, our friend, and we're happy to call him our friend, Kevin Rourke. Come on in, Kev. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
We finally got Kevin. We broke him down. He said, I'm never coming on your show, not making any appearances. But last year, Kevin made the mistake of winning the Masters. So he won the Masters, and he didn't want to come on the show, but we had to interview him, so he won the Masters. So, Kev, we're going to start off with that question. Are you going to come back and defend your title?
I think so, yeah. I'm going to have to. It's a one-day event this year, I believe. So I'm supposed to be working, but I believe I'm going to get off. So I'll be here. I'll give it a try.
Good.
See how it goes.
You know what? Kevin, being the good defending champ that he is and the good sport, the FDNY for one day is going to let him slide, take a day off, so he can come back and defend his title. Now, Kev, I have to say that last week you gave a beautiful speech, very heartfelt. Your inductee, the person who inducted you, was Ray and Naz. Did a tremendous job. Very heartfelt. So for those of you who weren't there, just a couple of things we're going to touch on. Tell us a little bit about what the Larson family and the Wilkinson family means to you, because I know it's very special.
They're like family to me. But in the beginning, it was Ray and Naz. When I first started bowling, they were like a second set of parents. And then when the Wilkinsons got here, I became a part of their family. And I've been friends with them since, and hopefully for a long time coming.
Yep, I like to think so. A funny story is, tell us about the first time you were supposed to go out on a date with your wife, the girl who became your wife, Stephanie. What happened the very first date that you were supposed to have?
Well, it wasn't really a date.
Well, all right. Okay.
I was the first night I was supposed to meet her for the first time.
It's a date.
I didn't show up. It was one of those days I slept the day away.
Okay.
But like I said in my speech, to my defense, I didn't know that meeting was taking place. So it's not like I just didn't show up,
Right. Well, okay.
trying to get away from it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? Steph, being the sweetheart that she is, she didn't boot him to the curb after that one time. She gave him a second chance, and the rest is history. They're married now with 2 wonderful children who, by the way, this past Saturday, your daughter Nicole, I said, there's the Hall of Fame daughter. So she said, we didn't even think my dad was going to write a speech.
Yeah, I surprised everybody. They were like, they saw other people giving a speech. Like, where's your speech? I said, I got it. Don't worry. And apparently I did a good job because everybody kept complimenting me about it.
You did. Now, for those of you who weren't there, if you have a chance, pick up a program, because everyone had to put a picture in there with their bio. Kevin put his 5th grade picture in there. They couldn't get his communion picture. I think they used his 5th grade picture, but Kevin's a good sport. He let us pick on him about it, and he's going to come back on the show in a couple of weeks with a surprise. He promises us. So make sure you tune in, because Kevin's going to come back on unannounced.
I got to let the hair grow a little bit more.
Well, I have the same problem. Yes, I know. But we're not gonna say when, but sometime during the 2nd, 3rd, Kevin's gonna come in with that surprise. So, Kev, before I turn it over to my buddy Joe, a question for you is: this is the last night of the first third. So, what are you looking forward to other than winning the league? What are some of the things? Is there a couple of people that you're hoping that maybe pick you, people that you haven't had a chance to bowl with for a while that you'd like to possibly bowl with?
There's a couple people, I guess, that I would like to bowl with. Right. I don't know if I'm going to have the opportunity to. Right. And there are a couple people that I don't want to bowl with. So we'll see how it turns out next week.
Well, you know what? Spoken like a true champion of the Masters and a true Hall of Famer. He speaks the truth right from the heart. That's why he don't cut corners. There's no gray area with Kevin Rourke. It's either black or white. You're going to get a yes or a no. That's why we admire him, and that's why we look up to him. Joe B., come on in for your round of questions for the new Hall of Famer.
Thank you, Joe. And when he was talking about that Stephanie story, you know what I was thinking of? In Goodfellas, when Lorraine Bracco gets out of the car, she's like, "What do you think, you're Frankie Valli or something?" And then they wind up getting married. So the bowling community wants to know things from Kevin Rourke. And I got to tell you, the young bowlers really don't know these guys that we're talking about. And I'm a nostalgic guy. And I really wish they had more clips. We didn't have that stuff back then. But growing up watching Kevin bowl was phenomenal for me because, you know, he was always one of the best in the league, and I always admired him. So I just want to give you that compliment. And I wish these young guys would notice how good these guys still are and some how good they were. So, but the bowling community had some questions for Kevin. And one of them was, what was your biggest win at New Dorp, hockey-wise?
I guess we're beating Tottenville to make it to the championship game against Farrell. That was probably our biggest. We weren't supposed to beat that team. They were stacked. They had a really good team, and we were able to do it.
Who was some of the best players in the league that year?
Oh,
Al Spalazzo?
Spalazzo was on their team. There was a lot of them. I can't.
Jimmy Sparacchio?
Well, they were all on my team. They were all good. Jimmy.
Jimmy, Joey, Jimmy Teresi, Kevin. Who else? Mike Dewhurst, was he there?
He might have been gone already. I think he was a little older than us. He might have been gone already that year.
Did you just beat Farrell?
No.
Score?
Did I score?
What was the score of the championship game?
No idea. You got to ask Jimmy that question. I have no.
Who was good on Farrell? Sorrentino?
Yeah, he was there. He was good. You obviously you know more than I know.
I happen to be a Staten Island sports enthusiast. No, you know, I just had a lot of friends. That's why. But they did have a really good team, and I don't really. You stumped me there. That Farrell was better. I didn't know that. But Tottenville was that good?
Tottenville was very good. Yeah. They had Kennedy was another kid. He was a very big kid, tough to move around. Yeah, they were good. Definitely very good.
Did you have the gold jacket or the green one?
The gold one was the varsity jacket. Yes, I had both.
Pizza Town.
Yes.
Walking around Pizza Town with them. So, Kev, people want to know simple questions. Another one is, what was your first car?
1980 Mustang, black.
Nice. How about your first job?
Oh, I worked with my stepfather delivering soda, White Rock soda, when I was 9 years old. I would work with him in the summertime. And I guess my first real job, I worked at Coastal Plumbing Supply on Noodle Plain.
Coca-Cola truck came after that?
Yes. I worked.
That's how I remember Kevin. Yeah, Coca-Cola. First 300, do you remember the ball?
No idea.
He's not good with this stuff, folks. And another thing, too, is he brought this up, and I'll bring this point up about the resume. Like, I don't even know what I won, he said, you know, and sometimes that bothers me, as if you need to win one of these tournaments to be considered great. So, in other words, if he didn't win the Masters, I mean, come on. He's great. Like, that stuff even bothers me in pro sports when they tell me that, like, you know, Ken Griffey Jr. never won. I mean, what are we talking about here? You know? I mean, am I right or wrong? Mike Trout?
Don Mattingly.
Don Mattingly. Come on. MVPs dominated the 80s. It was his fault that Chuck Harry was the ace? Or Andy Hawkins was on the mound? How is it Mattingly's fault? He's walking in the office like, what are we doing here? But the guy was great. So, in reference to Kevin, he's great regardless of what. I don't even know what tournaments it was. I just know he's great. You know why I call it? I call it the eye test. That's what I give it, the eye test. Lee's or Danino's?
Lee's. Chicken hot peppers.
Oh, nice. Honeymooners or the odd couple?
I go the odd couple.
Nice. How about, Joe, what was some other ones, Joe? I forgot them now. See, I got frozen. Yeah, that's right. Ralph's Ices, Kevin Rourke's about to tell us what he likes.
Cantaloupe.
What about your wife? Let's say she says, Kev, go to Ralph's. Get me something.
She's like a rainbow.
Rainbow. Okay. Did you ever see the video of Matt Kopowitz's $2.99 where he left the head pin?
No, I haven't. I have not seen it.
Give me a description of how it could possibly happen.
No idea.
Matt, we love you. The Nazareth Nighthawk. First bowling ball, Kenny wants to know. He's not going to remember this. He's not going to remember it. He's not going to remember it.
That's the only thing I remember. It was a brown ball. Threw it back up. It went in the gutter almost every 3, 4, 5 times a night.
Last week I was talking about Sunday Night Mixed. You agree with me? Do you remember Sunday Night Mixed 1990? You were first. I mean, I don't know if that was first year. Probably not your first year. But do you remember not being at the level you're at now? Do you remember those days?
Yeah, of course. Yes. I couldn't tell you who I bowled with, but I remember bowling in that league, yes.
That was good times. I mean, Kev, we're the same age, 72 you were born? Yeah, so, that was us young whippersnappers on the scene with the AMF Sumo. Remember the Sumo? Joe, remember the Sumo? All right, Joe, it's that time before we go out and practice. Could you grab me that envelope over there? Lowe's Bowler of the Week, Kevin Rourke. 78 bowlers. Someone bowled the lowest last week. Take no offense. Everybody's got a good sense of humor in this league so far, except for one. Except for one guy. Bowler X. Not allowed to say his name on the show anymore. Yes, he didn't like it. Insulted. Lowe's Bowler of the Week, ladies and gentlemen, our friend and sponsor, Scott Porto, Home Improvement. Scott. Another great hockey player. That's right. I might have to get some hockey. Hockey questions were good, right? Little blaster in the past. Come on. Do you remember that any team you were on in the roller hockey league in Miller?
Any team?
Team name?
Yeah, the Connecticut Flyers. I was on that team. Then I played for the Jufries team, the green. I forget the name of what team they were at that time.
Good enough. Kevin Rourke, baby. Congratulations, Scott Porto. Joe, come on in.
Yep, we're going to send off Kevin with, I have to touch on this for our friend John Wilders and for the bowling community, for people who golf. Kevin, 2 quick golf things. One, do you have a new driver in mind for the new season coming up next year?
No, I just got one last year, so I'm going to stick with that one.
All right. I know. Go ahead.
Think about my suggestion to Joe to use a higher lofted driver, 11 or 12 degrees for a guy learning. Isn't he killing himself using a 10 degree? No, I'm using it. All right, but I'm just saying.
Absolutely. The higher the loft, the better. It's easier to hit it, and they should be hitting it. Right. I hit 10.5. It's very hard to hit. The less loft, it's harder to hit it.
Yeah, no, I'm hitting an 11. I'm hitting an 11. Well, Kevin and I have golfed together. He's had the misfortune of playing golf with me a few times. So
I love playing with everybody.
He's a good sport. He's a good sport. And one last question. Well, I was going to say that I'll bet you the Rourke family is happy there'll be no new drivers in the house this Christmas. He's going to wait till maybe the season after next to get himself a new driver. And finally, Kev, what is your golf ball of choice when you play?
I use the Pro V1 most of the time. Yeah. I got probably 60 of them waiting to be hit. So, yeah. So we use it. Yes, we line it up. Yeah. You got to line it up.
There's one small area on the Pro V1 that's flat. Really? Correct, Kev? It's a line in the middle where the dimples meet.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Sideways. Really? It's like flat on flat.
See, I'm learning from the guys that are the good golfers here. Me, I'll play with a Callaway, a Shrixon. Maybe I'll throw like Pinnacle in there. But I know these guys. Joe Bruno has told me if you don't play with a Pro V1, it's like bowling with a house ball. That's what Joe says. Well, what's the matter with Shrixon?
Well, you're just talking about like a Pinnacle. Like
No, but I know. But
you know what I'm saying?
I know.
It's like a ball, like I said. You have to at least play the ball.
Kev, do you agree?
Yes, definitely. And try to stay with the same ball for more than 4 or 5 rounds to see if you can get used to it.
If my family,
Some balls do make a difference.
well, if my family's watching, I'll take those Pro V1s for Christmas under the tree, or maybe in the stocking stuffer. But anyway, we want to thank Kevin. Kevin is a good sport. He's a hell of an athlete. He's a new Hall of Famer, and we're happy to have him. And next week, folks, there won't be a show because the B bowlers have to work on their strategies. Right, Joe? Right. Kenny, right? Matt, right? We got to work on our strategies. Kevin's too good for the Bs. He's an A bowler, so he's going to sit in the draft room and say, which guy's going to pick me. I hope it's someone I want to bowl with. Anyway, folks, we're going to sign off as we always do, as we say good night, good luck, God bless, and good bowling.